night. I'm not gonna, I just want to use one sense of it to put on to the day. Yeah? Hold on a second. I need to get the glasses.
Yeah.
No, I can't. They're getting ready for the meeting. So, yeah. Yes. Ah,
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Reflections on the 12 Steps with Paul Hedderman. Just a friendly announcement that this is not an AA meeting, though we do take readings from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. This meeting is being recorded live on YouTube, and it's being recording on the Zoom account as well. Today, Paul, I have a small reading.
yeah.
Before, unless you want to get into what you would like to share first.
No,
Or,
we'll come
okay.
back.
Let's check out page 76, the top of page 76. So this is just after the fifth step, and it says the top of the page on page 76, if we can answer to our satisfaction, we then look at step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? Can he now take them all, every one? If we still cling to something we will not let go, we ask God to help us to be willing. When ready, we say something like this: My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. We have then completed step 7.
All
Short
right.
and sweet.
Yes.
So
Well,
maybe if you could talk about how you use how you've talked before about using step 6 and 7 on a daily basis as things come up, and then kind of bringing that whatever the
yeah.
energy to. Thanks.
Yes. Well, again, welcome everybody. Nice to see Lebowski and Rick Rowe and everyone else, Paula, Vlad. When he says if we can answer to our satisfaction, we can answer, have we done, let's say, the best we thought we could, the first 5 steps, yes? Yeah. So that's, you're looking at it and seeing, all right, well, I've admitted that I'm not managerial quality, and yeah, on and on. So, and then we then look at step 6. So you just do a quick review, step 5. So this is the period after the 4th and 5th steps. Yeah. So then the 6th. So we have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us? See, it's so beautiful because they keep the same theme in the language. You could have heard, we now go out and remove all these terrible things in us and get rid of them. No, it doesn't say that. It says, all we need to do is be willing to allow something else to come in and take the shit away. It's completely different spirit in a sense, yeah? So this would be, one would be a self-help thing. The other is a reliance on a higher power idea. So are we now ready to let God remove from us? And you don't need, if you trip over the word God, it's a power greater than self, really. Yeah. Yeah. Because right now, many of us, the one power of self has been running or directing our life. We're asking for a power greater than it to come in, to intervene on and do something that we can't do for ourselves. That's basically it. So you admit your sense of powerlessness or that you've been defeated, and you don't go wrestling with the lower power. You ask for a higher power to come in and intervene on your behalf, in a sense. Yes? Yes. So we have emphasized willingness to be indispensable. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? So a power that can do it won't do it, but it needs our role in it is to be willing to let it do it. Yeah. In a sense, that's what the weird thing in a subjective experience is. You can have the greatest ideas in the world, and if they're introduced to people, they can fuck it up. Yeah. Literally. If you looked at AA program on paper and a description of the disease that it is used to affect, you would say, yeah, this is a super sound program and everything. But people are in it, yeah? And people say no. They're not interested in getting better. They're interested in getting better the way they want to get better. Yeah. And so this is a weird thing that, yes, there is a power greater than us, but we have to be willing to allow it to come in. Yeah. It's not going to just barge in. Just like, you can bring the horse to water, you can't make him drink. You can, uh, we all know the frustration of seeing people we know or family members and even ourselves not being able to get it and actually showing like a fucking righteous disinterest or stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. So are we now ready? A little bit of willingness is indispensable. Willingness for what? To allow something to come in and do what we cannot do on our own. Yeah. And if you don't believe you're willing, then be willing to be willing. This is how they say it. AA just bends over backwards so much just to allow us to stay in, to be in the vicinity of the operating table so that something can happen. So can he now take them all, every one? It's funny how that which has defeated us can be taken away, and we seem to do a lot better. You would imagine if it was all of us, we would die from the operation. Yeah. If that which was being removed was essential part of us, we would die during the operation. But here it says this power can remove all of that stuff, and you're going to be doing quite well without it. Yeah. When it says the flaws in your makeup, that doesn't mean they're your flaws, FLAWS. I feel there's an infection that has taken us over, which is foreign in nature, and it leaves its marks on us in our character flaws, FLAWS. Yes? So here, he now, can he now take them all? He can definitely take them all. Can he now take them all? You see how our role is? The power can do it, but are we willing to allow it to do it? Yeah. He now, can he now take them all, every one? So he can take them all, but can he now take them all? Yeah. Are you willing to allow the operation to continue? Or do you want to get up and whatever? So if we still cling to something, we will not let go. We ask God to help us be willing. There's the direction. When ready, we say something like this: My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character, we are not the origin of these defects. We're at the effect of these defects. We're not the cause of the defects. Yeah. Remember, we're being driven. We're not the driver, as it says. Yeah. So I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character so I can have that house on Malibu. Oh, no, it doesn't say that. It says, which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Wow. It doesn't even mention you. It says my usefulness to the power and fellows. You're not even number one. It doesn't say anywhere. You. Yeah. So it stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. So isn't that the point, for us to be useful to the power that's greater than us and to fellows? That's the point. Yeah. To be employed means to be used. We are in this life, we are going to have an employer. We know what it's like to be employed by the head, and hopefully we're finding out what it's like to be employed by the spirit. Yeah. But we're going to be used. We are a purposeful figure. Yeah. We are going to be used. We are going to be driven. We are going to be brought to. We're going to be put in. Yes. That's our role. Not being the main mover and shaker. So, my Creator, I am now willing to have that, now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. What? Oh, yeah. What's my what's my trajectory to do this power's bidding? Do you feel like that every day? We have then completed step 7. Yeah. So I found, I'm sure lots of people have, if they've stayed sober in a while, like that statement in the Vision for Us, this power is going to constantly reveal stuff to us. I think it reveals a lot of stuff about the disease of alcoholism to us as the patient. Yeah. And through seeing that, when I see the patterns that used to defeat me, before they defeat me, I bring it to step 6 and 7. I humbly, I'm entirely ready to have this, which I'm noticing is starting to build up, removed, and I ask that power to do it. So this is, to me, the act of recycling in the working steps. Yeah. The working steps 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 6 and 7 are the recycling steps. You recognize the old ideas, the old shit that you're very familiar with. You now see them in a new light, but after doing step 4 and 5. And then instead of embracing or fighting with it, you bring it to the recycling center, which is the higher power. And you turn the shit over to it. And then what happens? You'll find out in your own life. What happens to me is the value that was hidden in that stuff gets extracted and now enriches your life so that you can do the bidding of the higher power and be more helpful to your fellows. Yes? And as a byproduct, you travel lighter. Yeah. Instead of wanting to travel lighter and that thing turns into heaviness, you're wanting to be available to the higher power to be used and to be available to be of service. And in doing so, you travel lighter throughout your day. That's the deal. Yeah. So 6 and 7, yes. And if you noticed over time, if you use 6 and 7, if you use the recycling, you don't end up having to do lists of step 8 or 9. Yeah, because you don't step on as many people's toes and you don't have to make amends. Yeah? Because you don't realize the storm. After the storm, you see the forecast of it at first, and then you bring that over to the power. Yeah. This is an activity you'll notice throughout your life if you stay sober. Yeah? You're in the habit of being sober and you're in the habit of recycling. Remember when they started recycling in America? They had the containers with the different colors. You had to get into the habit of recycling. You're used to just throwing everything in one fucking big garbage. Yeah. And then how did you get into the habit of by doing it? You did it. And then you go, okay, then you weren't like confused. Does the glass go in the blue or does it go into the green? You knew where to throw it. This is step 6 and 7. Yeah. You and I living a life are going to produce a lot of residue, a lot of stuff. Yes. If that stuff is turned over, it gets recycled. If it's held on to, it produces bad effects usually. Yeah. Yes. So 6 and 7, in my observation over the years, is the most working steps now. Step 6 and 7. And now I'm in a sort of dry period, which is great, but I still have it a lot in the dreaming phase at night. When I wake up from dreams, I have certain patterns of dreams that are definitely rooted in the alcoholism. So when I wake up and I've noticed that dream, I immediately turn it over in step 6 and 7. Yeah. There are dreams that I seem to observe at night that are very familiar. It's a pattern. Like I leave a place that I know and I'm secure about it. Then I get lost and the bike I'm riding, the tires turn into squares and I had money and I had this and now the money's gone and I don't have any place to stay. It sounds like going out and using. So when I wake up and notice that, I bring that to step 6 and 7. Yeah. Because there's every moment that you've lived and are living, there's value in it. Yeah. If you turn it over to this assessor of value, the higher power is much, 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 much clearer about extracting value than how the head sees value. Yeah. Seriously, I mean, you could be a piece of gold thinking you're a piece of coal, COAL. Yeah, really. So this is just this to me is a very important aspect of the working steps, 6 and 7. Yeah, all right. So the Course in Miracles, not everyone's familiar with it, but I noticed that a lot of people in AA get attracted to it down the road. Maybe because they both are blue books, yeah. But a lot of people have gotten into the Course in Miracles, and the other night, last night we did a reading from it, and I believe one of these statements is exactly what is being said in this reading of AA. Yeah, and that is, I've got to find it. He talks about how the head sees the body as the end. Yeah. Where in AA, the body is seen as the means to be useful and to be directed by the higher power. In the head, we're doing everything for the end of the head, for me, yes? So they talk about it. It's beautiful. I hope I can find it here. Oh, yeah, here it goes. It says, you still have too much faith in the body as a source of strength. In other words, we're too connected with doing. There's a lot of times in AA, it's best not to do. Yeah. Yeah. What plans do you make that do not involve its comfort, meaning the body's comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way? Yeah. He's saying that would be the head is looking at the body as the end. Yeah. And then all the means are justified. Yeah. I deserve to get this and fuck everyone else. Yeah. As this end. So he goes here. What plans do you make that do not involve its comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way? This makes the body an end and not a means in the head's interpretation. Incredible. Because the interpretation of AA is the body is a means for the higher power to work through. We just read it. For me to be useful, yeah, to the higher power and the fellows. You are now a means, not an end. It's not all about you anymore. It's about you being used for something bigger and larger. It's there's no, it's the most, it's such a beautiful example of how the head sees it and how, let's say, the spirit of AA sees it. The spirit of AA sees us as a means, and the head sees us as an end. Yeah. And a lot of people believe the end justifies the means. Yeah. And all the fucking shit we get up to, and all this and all that, and the impossibility of the head seeing, I would like to be treated as I would like to treat others as I would like to be treated, seems to be like an impossible task. Yes. Because we're seen as an end. Yeah. Instead of the means. And AA changes us. It really educates us, and we are seen as a means, not the end. Yes? It's not about you getting the house in Malibu, though it may happen. It's about you and I being of maximum use to others and the higher power. What? Yeah. So, and I'll tell you, I feel much different being seen as a means than an end. Yeah. It's just worked a whole lot better than looking at everything as what it's going to do for me. And yes, constantly. And giving me a rationale to do fucking anything I wanted because the end, me getting what I want, justified the means. And then running into millions of other people that are doing the exact same thing. They believe the ends themselves justify the means. So this is why I want to, and this is beautiful. We read this because we just did this last night, the Course in Miracles. And what the Course is trying to do is there's the ends and the means, just emphasizing one instead of the other by telling the truth of what's emphasized now. And most for us, when we're looking through self, the end is justifying the means that the self will get up to. Yes? And instead of freeing us as the end, we're bound to self. Yeah. Yeah. So you can't know it if you're used to just being in one slot. You don't know what it's like in the other slot. AA is allowing you to get to be placed in another slot, looking at life in a different way. It may work better. Yeah. And if you get in the habit of being sober, that different way will become the way for you. Yeah. You'll be on a new basis, and that new basis will have new freedom and new happiness and a new attitude and a new outlook. And the attitude won't be the end, it will be the means. Yes. It's beautiful, I think. It's just a beautiful description. Because here it says it, and we know exactly what it says. Though we may never have read the Course in Miracles, we've lived the ends and the means. We've lived it. Yeah. And it says here, if everything is based on what you getting something, it's obvious that what plans do you make that do not involve its comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way, meaning you. Yeah. This makes the you or the body an end and not a means in your interpretation. I don't believe it's your interpretation. I believe the head's interpretation. So in the head's interpretation of our whole life, you are the end. It's about you all the time. In the interpretation of the spirit of AA, you're seen as a means. Yeah. And the being used as a means to produce a new end is so incredibly fulfilling as the action figure. Yes. We're going to be used, and being used as a means instead of an end is a fulfilling way of life. It gives you a purpose and a contentment and satisfaction. When you're constantly seen as the end, you're just ravenous. Even when you have money, you see someone has more money and you're fucking jealous of that. It's just, there's no rest there. Yeah. So AA is putting to rest that source of agitation, that irritability, restlessness, and discontent, and placing in us in a position that works for us, which is being seen as a means, not the end. Yes? Yeah. So, and 6 and 7, you'll listen, you'll hear all the ideas about you as the end. You will. They'll keep coming fucking up. And if you can see that and allow that power to change it, and it'll change you from the end to the means. It will. And you'll be put to a better use and you'll be better for it. And so will others. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're new, just follow suggestions. Get a commitment. Don't drink or use, period. And you'll end up getting into the habit of being sober. When the habit of being sober takes place, a lot more stuff gets downloaded because it won't go to waste. You won't be loaded the next day. You'll be sober. And then there'll be I believe recovery progresses and it will keep progressing into your 37th year or your 37th month or your 37th hour, whatever it may be. Yeah. But don't fool yourself. You are going to, in the program, you are going to be turned back into the means, and there's going to be a loss of interest in the ends. Yes. Like we say, we're not in the outcome business. Our job is to suit up and show up. That's the means. We're not in the outcome business. That's the ends. Yeah. So it was funny because I just randomly remember this chapter. It's a thing out of the Course in Miracles, which is I need do nothing. And that reminds me of the promises around page 84, where you will be placed in a position of neutrality with no thought or effort on your part. That's playing the role of the means, not the end. Yes. Yes. The problem will not exist for you anymore. Fucking unbelievable. What an incredible conclusion. The problem will not exist for you anymore. I swear, I've had every day. There's a lot of problems come into this life every day, maybe. Not many lately. But I'll tell you, the problem never shows up. It's as if it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. So thanks. Want to open it up, Michael, or
Yeah, yeah.
something else?
I know I don't have any other reading for today. No.
You see the sense of it, though? Remember that statement, the end justifies the means? It sure sounds like the head.
Right.
Self-centeredness. Yes. Everyone gives themselves permission, but they don't give the permission to others. Yeah. You got to treat me the way I want to be treated, but fuck you.
Yeah. So would you consider that living by the means is what helps produce the restless irritability and discontentment?
No, meaning being the end.
No, yeah. By living by the ends, it's what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then the head is constantly trying to manage the means. It's not seeing the means as a life, it's seeing them as ending up as an end. I want to feel great. Or whatever, yes? When you're being used as the means, all you do is you show up. Like you go and let's say you're talking at an AA meeting. You're being used, you talk, you don't follow what everyone's conversation after the talk was saying about you. Yes?
Right.
It's not important. You delivered the goods. You were being used. And there it is. That's your job. Yeah? And you get weaned off of the ends And you find a much peaceful condition just being used or being in the means. Yeah. Yeah. I just love it because it's such an explanation of self-centeredness. You're not seen as a means to something, you're seeing as the end of all something. Yeah. And look at what it's done to us. Look at what that view has done to us. Look at it. When you were a kid, there was a period of time, obviously, you would share shit. I'd be playing army men with my friend Wayne and another guy, Billy, and I would let them borrow my army man and this and that, playing around a tree. Then you hit a certain point, fuck you. You can't, I want everyone to have money, but none of my money. That's seeing everything from the end. Yeah, you. It's what's killing us, literally. Yeah. This has been killing us. All of our charades about drinking and using and going crazy was really just a pretense to get us into this program and getting relief from the underlying conditions. Yeah. You notice they don't talk much about alcohol at a certain point in time because they see that's superfluous. It's super important when you're engaged with it, but the underlying causes and conditions are the real place for relief and recovery. Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is a basic, I'm just into this mean in the ends because that's how the head works in me. It triggered something and I want to just milk it like a cow. But you notice that's that's the trajectory of many people's lives. It's either they see themselves as a mean and they've surrendered to a higher end, or they see themselves as an end and that gives them a righteousness to use any means possible to get that end. It's just perfectly explains the recovered mind and the unrecovered mind. It does, I feel. So, didn't you, when I came in, oh, I did not obvious like processes. I wanted the ends immediately. That's why I shot coke. Yes. Smart snorting it was wasteful. Smoking it took too long. Put it right in the blood system. It'll get to the brain and the heart as quickly as possible. Bammo. Yeah. I was living completely as the end. Yeah. Completely. Yes. Completely. And I came in, and an AA says, well, this is a process. And I didn't like processes. I don't want a beginning and a middle and an end. I just want an end. I just whack. I just want to have it. I don't want to go through a process of getting it. I want to have it. And I got weaned off of that way of looking in life through AA. And then I didn't give a shit about the end. I got lost in the process. Yeah. The process of being sober. There's no end to it, is there? There's not a stagnant condition of sober. It's a living thing. It's breathing in and out every day. So you never get to the end of sobriety. Yeah. So it was obvious I had one point of view that was killing me. And actually, there was such a willingness to have it change. I saw the changes quickly in the first 6 months of recovery. Yeah. I loved losing. I would get caught in the middle of the process and I didn't give a shit about the end. I didn't. I didn't care if there was going to be a final solution. I was loving the process of sobriety to this day, seriously. So I have a lot of feeling about this statement because it's actually, in another way of looking at it, captures it perfectly. Because how we moved and how we look like when we're moved could be different, but the moving isn't. And in recovery, there's only two options. Either you're being moved by self, the finite self, or you're being moved by the infinite. Yeah, in this drama. Of course, everything is moved by the infinite, but this in this drama, it can seem like you're being moved by self or by the infinite. That's what AA offers. It says perhaps there's the better way, which they imply to be being directed by the infinite instead of finite self. Yeah. Finite self looks as you as the end, so everything is appropriate to get there. You know, the ends justifies the means. That's the head is completely like that. Or you're willing to be changed into seeing that the means, the being of use and the being of service is really the end. Yeah. It's like two suits. Which one do you like to wear? Yeah. Yeah. To me, I love uh, the means. There's a lot. What happens when the ends don't work? What happens when you get your ends that you had a whole story that it was going to be great and it's not fucking great? You finally get like an 8 ball and you think it's great and then it ain't. Then you need an ounce of Coke. And then I need a pound of Coke. It's never fucking enough from the ends. Yes? Yet in the means, you have gratitude walking with you. You're fucking, hey, thank you. This is more than enough. Yes? You look at it completely differently. Yeah. And you can see in AA when the end wants to get to another end. Yeah. And then that's when the person who's obsessed with self can be virtuous and kind, can do this and do that. But its agenda is to get something as the end. Yes? Yes. So I hope you I hope you got a little bit of what I'm sensing because I love when I find a new cow on the farm and you can milk it. It's a nice, I'm going to go off on this for another couple of days, I think, because it's so perfectly. Because remember, you always used to hear the ends, meaning you, justifies the means. That's a very, that's a, I love how the system makes its own failure okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck them. I don't care if they don't get what they want. I want to get what I want. Uh, none of it is you, but you're being directed by it, one way or the other. The higher power is going to direct you, or the lower power is going to direct you. You're going to be directed, you're going to be driven, you're going to be used. There is not a moment that there is no employer in your life. You're always being employed. Yeah? Either your anger is moving you or your greed is moving you or whatever. They're not yours, but you're being moved constantly, all the time. Yeah. You're a sailboat that thinks it's the engine. You're thinking you're doing all the moving when it's the wind. The wind is blowing you. You know where the wind of self blows you, don't you? Institution, jails, and death for many of us. Yeah. Yeah. And all the while you blame yourself as the engine that you did it, but you didn't. You were blown there. Just like a lot of us have been blown to the same 3 parking spaces, institution, jails, and death. That should tell you something. Well, you're thinking you're putting on your unique way. You're just being moved by the same wind that others are. Yeah. And look at how familiar we are to another addict and another alcoholic. Really. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Is that all right what we got around?
Perfect.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody has any questions or would like to share, please use the raise hand function. The room is open. Well, Paul, could you talk a little bit about the pitfalls of claiming ownership? You know, like with what you just used as the word "my," and
Yes.
and how that could be like. I mean, it's part of our language. You know, it's like something that I've grown up with. Is it's my toy. And
Well, one of the pitfalls is what you say you own starts to own you. Yeah.
okay,
That's a tricky thing. So when you say my and you declare ownership, somehow the thing that you own starts owning you. So a thought may not ruin your day, but my thought can. Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the big pitfalls.
I've
Yeah.
seen that with resentment for sure.
Yes. So exactly. So the owning in that way. And then I believe the claiming of things is mechanical. It's a mental activity. I don't believe Michael as a unique thing is choosing to do that.
Okay,
The same mechanisms happening in all our heads.
I
Yeah. Yeah. So the head to keep up its story, it has to claim what's happening. Yeah. And in that claiming it, uh, it gets bit in the ass, so to speak. Yes. Yes. So this is when there's plans and designs. Then if you see yourself as the means, they're little plans and designs. If you see yourself as the ends, they're big plans and designs. Yeah. So here in subjectiveness, which is what we're going through, yeah, its proportion and size are made up. Yeah, so you can have the idea of money, and I wish everyone here to have a lot of money, but I don't wish any of you to have my money. See? So you see, the word my, that feeling changes what comes after. Yeah. You don't change any letter in the word money. You don't capitalize it, but the whole feeling of it is different when it's all called money and then my money. Yeah. The same thing, girlfriend. It's great. You're pretty loose. Everything's happening. My girlfriend, you're stalking, you thinking you believe you should be able to go in her email account and shit like that. Yes. So the my just brings a lot of new meaning to shit. Yes. Yeah. And in that case, it comes with the ownership. So you get whacked. Yeah. So I feel part of the traveling lighter is something has been loaned to you or something. Yeah. Then it's not yours. Yeah. Yes. So I like the idea of things being given and then be grateful. Yeah, even troubles, because troubles have a lot of value if you sit through them sometimes. Yeah, yeah, you can learn what has defeated you. You can learn about it. And so that you recognize it before it's on top of you. Yeah. And if you recognize it, you can bring it before it manifests, you can bring it to step 6 and 7 and have it recycled,
yeah.
and put to better use than the head wants to do it with. The head wants to use it for something. And whatever else we surrender to wants to use it in a different way. And I would call that different way a better way than the head's going to use it. Yeah. Yeah. So the claiming of stuff has a lot of pitfalls. Yeah. A lot of pitfalls. Yeah. But it's mechanical. So we're listening to something. Doesn't it sound like the head is talking to somebody in there?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you seem to have sometimes as people get older, the conversation's just out in the open. They're talking aloud. Yeah. And it's like a conversation. But in this conversation, there's only one that's talking
Yeah.
and the one that seems to be listening. Yeah. 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 What happens when you see the talking isn't you, you lose interest. Yeah. So it's hearing now, not listening. Listening is different. Yeah, it's a directed hearing, listening. Yeah, you're like, that listening is the basis of the bondage of self. Yeah. The listening to the thoughts as if they're yours and they're from the Greek oracle and they're profoundly wise. Yeah, and motherfucker, that guy should get it. Yeah, whatever. Yes?
Yeah.
That stuff is makes a bad potion. Yeah. So this is you lose interest in the head that you used to like devotedly listen to. You lose interest in it. So now you're hearing it as if you've got distance from it. And it proves to be true. You do. You hear a lot of shit that you used to listen to and then do something. Now you just
Right.
hear. Yeah. It's a combo. The listening has a point. It wants to compel an action. Because once you make an asshole of yourself on the game board, there's consequences. Yes. If you sit here and go, I hate my girlfriend, but don't say it, the relationship continues probably pretty well. The one night that you blurted out to her, I hate you, that she may not forget that for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is like, you know, you're hearing the head say, I hate her, I hate her, I hate her, and you're just living and loving her and everything. But then you listen to the head saying, I hate her, I hate her, I hate her, and then you actually do it, then consequences occur. Yes?
Yeah.
Remember the day you said you hated me? On and on and on for years. So, yeah. There's a big difference between listening and hearing. You're going to hear stuff. A lot of stuff you may not like to hear. You're going to hear it. The head's going to present its position. Yeah. But listening to it and then being advised by it and then acting out on it is
Right.
something else. That's the bondage or the slavery to self. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. At that point, you got to be at meetings and shit.
Right.
You do. I mean, you have to, uh, more radical action has to be taken. Yes. Because all your knowledge isn't helping. Yeah, yeah. So this is when somebody would ask you as a sponsor or something, do you think I should go into a program? Probably maybe a good idea for a month so that you get a barrier between you and the what you're listening to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to and don't follow it, it will die down a little bit. Yeah. So in a controlled environment, you may be completely avidly listening to it, but they won't let you act on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you'll get kicked out. So I think that, that's you know, a one-on-one event. You recognize someone's asking your advice and you say, yeah, I believe you should go into a controlled environment because you're not able to not do what the head says. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, could I also take that thoughts to 6 and 7, like you were discussing earlier? And
For sure. For
yeah.
sure. Yes, definitely. Because
Yeah.
it's sort of like a tail on the whole animal. Yeah. You're just seeing the one tail, the thought, but it's got that's a compilation of a big story. Yes. Yeah. But it wants to provoke an action.
Right.
An action. It wants you to take a step, lay a hand on someone, pick up a drink. It has to get you to act because that's when the genie comes out of the bottle and it can have a fucking field day. Yes? Being grumpy and angry and pissed off while you're doing the dishes at the rehab, is that's nothing like when you've had the drink or you're in the drug and you're down in the tenderloin and doing all the shit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, sometimes people need to be supervised for a while because of the condition they're in. You got to have some honesty about where you're at. Yeah. You would like to not listen. You hope you don't listen, but you're showing that you cannot not listen. Then another step is necessary. Yeah. A lot of people who begrudgingly go into a place come out thinking it was the best move they've ever made.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but, that becomes academic in a way when you don't drink. So you don't start. Yeah. You don't go when now know when your neighbor's not home and you don't go into their house. Yeah. You just don't start shit. And then there's not like material shit to clean up. Yeah. You may be
Yeah.
going, oh, I'm feeling fuck that. But there's not you didn't do a big dump out there, which has to be cleaned
Right.
up. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine out there like trucking the streets at 70 years old? Give me a fucking break. Those days are over. You, you've been retired. Yeah. It can't be. Your tracks can't even be noticed because your skin is it's so hanging off. You don't know how many years I've shot up. Right? It's all gone. Yeah, it's over. I don't like the new phase I'm entering. Well, Uh,
Well, hey, Paul, we have Heather has her hand up.
oh, Heather, great.
Hello, Heather. I hope, can you unmute? Yeah.
Hi guys. Hi guys. I'm driving, so I'm gonna put my thing off, but I do
Please, please.
great. So yeah, and actually Mike, can you lower my hands or do I have to do it? Okay,
Don't do
great.
anything but drive.
I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
thank you. So appreciate this so much. And you're right on the money of what I was gonna inquire about, Paul, in terms of when we need a little adult supervision with ourselves. And I was looking at the thing that keeps dogging me, which is the food thing, and I was realizing that we all have assets and liabilities, and that where we're most vulnerable, it would make sense to shore up ourselves for those situations. And looking at one of my greatest vulnerabilities is when I walk into the kitchen without a plan. There were 10 years there where I was totally great, totally fine, 50-pound weight loss. In the last 10 years, I've been up about 10 pounds. It's fine, but the came back after my dad died. So it's I love what you're saying about how you sometimes need, you can't just walk lighter the whole time. So my plan is to just, plan what I'm going to eat when I walk in that kitchen. And so it'll be better. So what I'm hoping you might address, just kind of that subtle line between walking lighter, knowing that if I can observe myself, then I cannot be perceiving, right? That which can be perceived cannot be perceiving, and just a way to stay vigilant without letting the sort of Navy SEAL, the
Yes,
part of us, yeah, that's trying to hold on, control. Yeah, there's that light dance between being vigilant and also being light.
yes, yes. Well, vigilance doesn't need to be seen to be so like your sphincter muscle is super tight all day. You can have a vigilance because it's actually coming from the higher power that allows you to be much looser while you're, yes? And
Wow.
if there's something, if that higher power needs a person to represent it, then you see that person, but the influence is from the higher power. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
love that.
if I for a moment or two needs a jailer, someone to watch over me, I don't see that person as the one that's doing it. I feel there's something greater at hand. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I remember when I was in Delancey Street, a program for 2 years, 85 to 87, rather long haul. And one thing that was incredible is when they looked at me, they saw me as an addict. When I looked back at them, I was saying I was Paul. Yeah. Now, they
Yeah.
never deviated from that, which really worked because Paul didn't get its way at all, because they never saw me as Paul. They saw me as just a run-of-the-mill addict. Yeah. And
Mm,
I left, I had not liking that at all many times when they didn't address me as Paul.
mm,
But when I got out, I reluctantly, begrudgingly had to admit my life looked better with them running it than it did with Paul running it. Yeah. So
mm.
I have come to these conclusions, sometimes harshly, sometimes softly, but I've been convinced of these aspects. Yes. So whatever is needed for is not what's needed for you, but for the action figure. And some people
Yeah.
have deep grooves that others don't. And obviously, the idea of food is a tricky place because you have to eat.
Yeah.
So you can't have an abstinence like an abstinence in drinking or drug use because you have to take food usually. Yeah. Where I don't have to take drugs or alcohol. I can live without it. So, and I don't have any experience with the food. So I don't know what it's like to be in those shoes. But the overlying and underlying principles I feel I've seen in addiction and with drugs and alcohol. And you need what you need when you need it. Some people need help with supervision, and then it's like when you know how to ride the bike, but it's been a while, so someone's holding the bike with you, and
Mm,
then they let go. And sometimes you think they should have let go earlier, or you go let go now, but you needed it. The bike needed to be held. Yeah.
yeah.
It wasn't let go perfectly, but you needed it to be held for sure. And then you take off. Yeah. So to know that is wisdom. To know the action figure uh, has this sort of aberration or whatever is important to know that so you have the right circumstances. Yeah.
I
So
appreciate that. I wanted to add to that just a little bit more of a share, but about the action figure taking on aberrations. Now that I've been in observation mode more, I'm having awareness of how quickly the action figure can shapeshift or catch the flu of other people. And the story is, when I first moved out of my parents' house at 22, I got this, really not nice neighborhood. It was MLK and 55th, and the landlord, she would be fine talking to me, and then when she talked about the neighbor who's this really bad guy, I guess she turned into this creature, this writhing, profane creature. And I'm like, wow, as soon as she talked about him. And then she sold the house, and a guy moved in who was a dancer. We were at a party at his house. He was a fine guy. And then all of a sudden, I mentioned I'd lived there, and he talked about the neighbor, and he shapeshifted into this horrible creature talking about what a horrible neighbor it was. And I thought, wow, this neighbor has the power to like possess people just by, and then it makes me aware of the aberrations of the action figure that, we it's something to watch out for, how quickly we can catch the flu of those aberrations. That's just all I wanted to say on that.
but then again, you take your insurance umbrella is the higher power.
Right.
Yes, this is the thing. In other words, all your activities, if you looked up as being covered by something, now that's something that's being covered, it's covered by, you have great faith in. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But of course,
Thank you.
I'm in and out of a lot of people. We're like a traffic, not we're not a signpost. We're a traffic. Lots of feelings that come through.
Mm,
And some people get caught by some, and other people get caught by others. Yeah. Like people have no problem
mm,
about the problem in your life, and you have no problem about the problem in their life. Yeah. So, yes. So,
mm.
but I humbly feel in recovery, you got to watch out with the self-help programming and
Yeah.
lying that you're in a reliance on a higher power event.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because you believe a lot of things about what you can and cannot do. I don't have that structure on the higher power. I have a structure that the higher power can do almost anything. That structure is not in my mental state that I can do almost anything. So relying on the higher power is the way to go. Yeah, seriously. And it's all based on a huge amount of faith, because truly I had lived the aspect of no human power was going to change this. I that is a bell that has rung very clearly in my head, that no human power could stop what was going on, because it couldn't, it didn't. And yet I got struck sober. So there is a power, but it's not of human form. But I believe it can move through human form for sure. But I do not see it as a person. I do not see like a sponsor would be the one who's keeping me and getting me sober. I would say a sponsor is being used so the higher power keeps me sober. I'm not thinking uh, the miracles come from people. Yeah, yeah. So, and it's worked. I mean, it's been working for years and years. So, yeah. So again, that statement, like God will never give you what you can't handle. I believe God will never give you what it can't handle.
Mm,
So to you, it will
yeah.
look like you can't handle it, but it can handle it. So I'm not a believer in that first.
Wow.
A believer in that. Sometimes it's awesome when something happens and you're outmatched. It's a great position for us to admit it. Yeah. And then it allows something to come into that vacuum and do for us
Mm,
what we couldn't do for ourselves. Yeah. And you get into the habit of living like that. You do. You get into the habit of realizing that what you cannot do for yourself, something else can do through you or through others. Yes. It's like a it's like a daily theme in this life, I feel.
mm,
Yeah, so look at what you're outmatched about, which is the idea of the eating and stuff, and truly
mhm,
surrender and realize no human power is going to help you,
mm,
and something will enter. It's sort of like a weird way, like in the vampire movies. You can't just barge into the house of the person. The vampire has to be asked in. And in a weird way,
mm,
this reading was about that. It says we have to have the willingness to allow this power to do its work. It can do the work, but it won't in a way. Yeah. And our role is to just consent to it. If you want to be run the show, it will be totally okay for you to run the fucking show. It seems like it. Yeah.
mhm,
I've seen a lot of people go way, 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 way down, believing they can run the show. It didn't seem
right.
like it stopped them at all. It was just readily available. If they decided or showed a little willingness, then it will step in. Yeah, yeah. That's, I feel, is our only role, is to show a little willingness. Yeah,
Mm,
and willingness, when followed by a demonstration of it working, galvanizes into faith. Yeah. Yeah. And then your willingness, to me, doesn't have to look enthusiastic. You're just there's a knowing of how it is. Yeah. And uh, you want to be on one side of the line. You don't want to be on the other side of the line. Yeah. It's just
mm,
simple. Yeah. 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 So the higher power can be applied to anything: food, drugs, alcohol, money, anything. Yes. Yeah. Just put yourself in a position of being the means, not the end,
mm.
and see what happens. You may have so many happy endings not being the end. You may.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's a theme, but you'll recognize it. You're living it after a while. You will. The being rocked in this cradle has a rhythm.
Mm.
It does. You pick it up. You pick it up and you realize the hesitation is on your side. The requirements are on your side. The buts, the BUTs are all on your side. It's ready and
Mhm.
willing to be available because that's its nature. It's availability. Yeah, it's up to us in a way to be a little bit willing. And
Mm.
I don't want it to be a daily choice. I want it to be a habit. So I'm in the habit of being,
Mm.
yeah. So I don't choose every day to open the door. I live with it open. I live with the door open. I don't choose to do it. I don't go, oh, today I'm not gonna. The door is fucking open. Yeah. That's the habit of being sober.
Mhm.
Yeah. A habit is an action without thought. If the problem resides in the mind, which would be in thought, you don't want the problem to have anything to say about your solution or the solution. So follow the suggestions. Yeah. Practice these principles as best you can today, and they will turn into habits. And those habits will be the greatest insurance policy of you not sinking the boat every fucking week. Yes? So that the journey to wherever you're going will keep going. Yeah. Instead of the Titanic every week. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes. And a lot of the anxiety and agitation will be put to sleep through the rhythm of that cradle, of that sense of
Mm.
being held by something greater than you. Truly. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's beautiful when when you're surprised by the ends that you end up at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being just
Mhm.
interested in the means. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I much rather live a life like that. When someone, I sometimes meet people who have different heads than I do, and they have everything mapped out. They want to meet a person who has at least $500,000 in the bank, has a job, they're going to buy a house together. And it's like unbelievable to me. I'm like, fuck. I just, my head, the head doesn't think like that. Yeah. Like it doesn't. I'm not saying it was right or wrong. It was really like I was an alien listening to someone and the car turned into like a space capsule. And I was listening, wow, you have a lot of conditions and requirements necessary.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and that can work under the guise of under the tutelage of the higher power. It was just so foreign to me. My head never thought like that. You know. Yeah. I never meet someone and say, "Show me your credentials." Okay. What school did you graduate from? I have no fucking idea. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Is that it, Michael, or what? Not anyone else?
No, that's it for today, Paul. Thank you very much. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you,
Thank
Heather.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Heather,
you.
and everyone for listening or sharing. They're both valid roles here, listening and the sharing. Yeah, and we'll be here again. What's today? Thursday, Saturday. So, yeah, yes. Thank you so much. You know, this is the a loving power expressing itself through our group conscience. That's how I feel when I come to these Zooms. Yes. I see Lebowski and John B in UK and Michael Stacy. And really, that power is expressing it through each and every one of us. And if we could individually be seen as assholes, when we're together, we put out a sweet bouquet. Yes, it's pretty good. Yeah. See ya. Bye bye. See you, Lebowski. Nice to see you, James. Yeah. Everyone else.
Thank you,
Bye.
Paul.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Hold on.
guys.
I
Have
forgot.
a good
Thanks,
day.
Bo.
Yes.
Thanks, Bo.
Hold on. I'm
Yep.
not done yet. I
Bye,
gotta
love.
say bye. It's my one pleasure. John in Florida. Nice to see you. Stephen Mack on Having Never Laughed. Walter, a brother from another mother. Vlad, my great friend in Portugal. Paula, nice to see you, honey. There. Chris, as always. Matthew, UK, we're both sober today. Hallelujah. Fantastic. Mr. Lebowski, Mr. John B in the UK. Nice to see you, John. Zoe, as always. What a pleasure for Zoe to drop in. Roman, my main man in Germany. Yes. Joseph C in France. Rudy, Will Harrison, Brian, Rick Rowe in Toronto. Michael, we got the hair going. Pretty cool. Jess L in Ireland. Miak. Are you going to hear from Kathleen? You know, Kathleen's going to Ireland, Jess.
Oh,
Kathleen from the Zoom is going to Ireland.
oh, amazing. Oh, yeah, I'll get in touch with her. Thanks for that.
You know how to get in
Cool.
touch with her?
Yeah, yeah, Kathleen,
Yes.
she was here earlier, right? With the tree in the background. Kathleen, yeah.
Kathleen, yes. Blondish hair and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Get in touch with her. She's going to Ireland.
Nice, thanks.
All right, honey. I'll see you, Jess. Yeah, and I hope to
All
see
right.
you sooner or later. And
Yeah, no Europe trip this September.
I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no yet. I'm just going to roll it with what's happening. But I would hope to get
Right.
there sooner or later. Maybe October again. So, Miak, as always, thank you. We got your phone, Miak. You left your phone here. Yeah. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you. See you. Oh, John A. Nice to see John A. and Brian. Rico Cruz, my man of his word. If I missed you, I haven't really. And just, I'll see you soon. We'll be back on Saturday. Adios.
Love you, Paul.
Thank you.
Love you
Thanks,
guys.